to lecture 2 of our What is Dance module. In this lecture, we're going to finish up our elements of dance. We're starting with space, and space tells you where the movement happened, where that dance movement happened. Space takes up space can be viewed in a couple of different ways. One of them is the vertical level at which the movement is happening. So when we speak of high, medium, and low, we're going to think vertically. Medium level would be anything that's performed at the dancer's natural height. Low would be anything that takes that dancer closer to the ground. And a high level would be anything that takes that dancer up towards the sky. So we have vertical level. We also have the pathways in which the dancer is traveling. So when I think of pathways, I think of like a roadmap. If you were to put a location into your GPS or your Waze, and you looked at the route that bird's eye view of the route. Is it a circle? Are you moving in a diagonal line? Would you be driving in a diagonal line? Would you be driving in a zigzag? I often use geometrical shapes when I'm describing space, but space relates to the pathway in which the performer is taking across the performance space. And then there's also your orientation, which way the dancer is facing. Oftentimes, orientation can use stage directions. So imagine that you are standing in that circle in the center. Downstage would be where the audience is, and upstage would be the back of the dance space. In earlier in the creation of theater as we know it now, the stage was on an incline, so the performers would walk down the stage, down towards the audience, and upstage would take you up and away from the audience. So think about it like that: down towards the audience or up and away from the audience. If you were standing in that center circle, downstage would be where the audience is, stage right and stage left. You can also break this into smaller quadrants, like you can have downstage, stage left, or upstage, stage left, and same thing for stage right. But if you were to say downstage, upstage, stage left, stage right, or center, those are pretty. That's a pretty good starting point, and you can continue to go deeper in your explanation and be more specific as you go along in your discovery. We're going to watch a video called Shut Up. And in this video, I want you to focus on space so that when you complete your next TET, you understand how to use space. So looking at space, they're standing center stage. They walk down stage. They turn stage right. Their knees are bent, so they're at a low level as they walk up stage. They run down stage. Just to give you some examples. Feel free to, they were jumping, as you can see, the computer just is buffering. Oh, we love technology. But they're jumping, which would be a high level. High level jumping. Medium level. Just to give you some ideas. In our next element, we're going to look at the element of time or tempo. So tempo tells you when the movement happened in relation to the music or perceived music, if you think about it, and I say perceived music because in our natural world, there are times where we are dancing to music that only we can hear, or that's a made up rhythm. I was just watching something on TikTok the other day, earlier today, where a person was dancing to the the like busy tone or something. Like, yeah. So think about in your own experience, when have there been times where you have danced, or yeah, have danced to music or seen people do a little dance and there is no music? So tempo refers to how the movement is performed in relation to the music or perceived music. And in that relationship, the movement can be faster than than the music or perceived music. It can be slower than. It can be in tempo or with the music. There also can be moments. There can be moments of stillness. The element of time and tempo can also refer to the duration of the movement. They were walking percussively for a long period of time. They briefly, lightly walked for a brief moment. They stood, they froze, they were still in the center of the stage for a long period of time. So it can also speak to the duration. In our next video, we're going to look at these moments of tempo. Look at when the movement is happening and just see if you can call them out as I'm calling them out. It's okay to also think about your other elements, but focus mainly on the tempo. This video, and we're focusing specifically on the tempo and where the movement is happening in relation to the music. So slowly pulse. So let's see. So we have a moment of stillness before they slowly rise up. Then we have quick flicks of their wrist. We have stomping on tempo. We have quick pulling down of the arms. So you're looking at a movement. There's a lot of movements that are going to happen in the video. Choose a movement, choose a singular movement, choose a singular body part, a hand, an elbow, and tell what it is doing. It can be very easy to get caught up into everything that's going on with the body, but choose one body part, that action, that space, that time, that effort, and break it down that way. And now we're moving on to our last element, which is the element of effort. And effort refers to how you perform the movement. So while it does speak of force, we are not thinking of, oh, they use all of their energy to perform the movement. Oh, they use a little bit of their energy to perform the movement. And that is we're not going to use that. They use all of it or a little bit or a high amount of energy or a low amount of energy. We're not going to use those terms, and we're not going to speak of energy in that way, because as a performer, speaking from my personal experience as a performer, I use the element of effort to help convey a message. So if I want to convey that this thing is easy, then I'm going to make the movement look easy. That does not mean that I'm not giving all of my physical energy to the movement. It means that I'm going to perform it in a way that helps you to think that it's easy, that it's lighthearted. So if I want the audience member to understand that this dance is about happiness and things like that, when I jump, I'm going to add a light and bouncier quality to my jumps so that it looks like things are happy. So you're reading this experience as a happy experience. If I were to want the audience to read the experience as a intense, angry experience, then I might add a heavier quality to my jump. Same kind of jump, but a different quality. Go back to that. I mentioned earlier the brushing of the hair. If I was brushing your hair, someone's hair, and I want them to know that I care about them, I'm going to approach that brushing with a different kind of softness to show care versus an aggressiveness that would read as a lack of care. So the force refers to still to the quality of the thing, not so much high energy, low energy, but rather the amount of force that the type of force, the intensity of the force, if that makes sense. In effort, we're looking at your attack, your tension, your force, and your weight. So weight would be light versus heavy. The attack, which would be the approach, softly doing something versus sharply doing it. Once going a little further with that idea, the approach, how the dancer approaches the movement. Here are some examples: smooth, sharp, sudden, and sustained. The tension, are they tightly, and that my knuckles are cracking as I squeeze my hand, are they tightly holding their fists closed, or are they loosely holding their fists closed? Those are different. Holding your fist tightly usually is anger, versus just a closed fist could just be maybe you have something lightly closing your hand. Could be maybe you have a wish or something in there. There's something special. There's something delicate in it. Your force, gentle and strong. Your weight, heavy, light, bouncy. The effort is, think of the effort as the coloring on in the picture. It gives you, if there's just a picture, if someone would just to draw a picture of outside and just a tree, but it's in black and white, might be a little harder to tell what season it is. But when you start adding color to it, it gives you more of a read. So the effort adds color, it adds emotion to the thing. Oh, ignore that last slide. We're going to watch our next video, and there's going to be a lot of dynamics, quite a few dynamics in it. Remember that we're taking this slow approach. Look at one body part and see if you can identify the effort that is used with that body part. Effort is what we're looking at in this video. Choose a body part. I'm going to give some, but choose a body part and try to identify the effort that was used as it performed a movement. So we see on smoothly circle. We see wrist fluidly flicker. We see torso smoothly swaying. We see a smooth bend of the knee. We see a sharp cross of the elbow. We see a light jump. More light jumping. Sharp bending of the knee. Fluidly flicking fingers. Sharp kick. We also see sustained poses. Remembering, take this slowly. Choose a body part and examine that body part. The body has in the choreography, there are going to be many body parts moving. You can focus on one. So we just watched the Bharatanatyam video and we mentioned effort. Now it's time for you to pull everything together. Tech number 4 asks you to create based list. So you're going to rewatch the Gallaudet video, this time by yourself, and you're going to create one based list per dance choreography. So for example, there was the Amazing Grace choreography, you're going to make one list for that choreography. Then there's another dance, you're going to make one list for that dance, and so forth. There are about 5 dance choreographies in the video. Take a look at my examples. So right here you see my example. It lists a body part, in parentheses I have body part. It lists an action, in parentheses action. It lists space, and this time I looked at where the vertical level. You can also look at orientation or pathways. We have a timer tempo, slowly, and we have an effort, which was softly. So that would be my list number 1 for my first dance. This is a made up list, so this might not actually happen in the video. It's just an example. Then I would have another list with representation of each element for the second dance. Same thing for the third dance and for the fourth dance and so forth. So you are going to create one list per dance choreography. Another thing to remember, what is dance? Your quiz is due on January 29th. Due on January 29th, if you have time to do it before January 29th, meaning you were able to get through this course material, go ahead and do it. It's better to get something done before it's due than to wait until the last minute. So one of the things that we're working on in this class, in addition to understanding dance content and understanding communities/cultures that are different than ours, we're working on some life skills. And one of those life skills is time management, productivity. How do we do things? How do we accomplish our goals? How do we accomplish our tasks in a way that causes us the least amount of stress? If you have any questions, please remember to email me via the Canvas platform prior to the due date so that you know that you have enough time for me to get your correspondence, to respond to your correspondence, and for you to have time to work out whatever needs to be worked out. Have a blessed day, and I will speak to you again soon.